From the dark alleys of Italy to the streets of Mexico and Central America, women have risen to the top of the crime world, breaking every rule along the way. Looking at how Rosetta Cutolo ran the Camorra clan with an iron fist, to how Beatriz Henao built one of the biggest drug trafficking and money laundering empires, these women have thrived in a man's world and are still active even to this present day. Whether leading deadly cartels, pulling off massive heists, or outsmarting the law, they have proved that power knows no gender. Enedina Arellano Felix. Enedina Arellano Felix stands as one of the most intriguing female figures in the world of drug cartels. Born on April 12, 1961, in Mazatlan, Sinaloa, Mexico, her life was bound to collide with the world of illegal trade. With her family deeply rooted in drug trafficking, they laid the groundwork for what would become one of Mexico's most notorious criminal empires, the Tijuana cartel. In the 1970s, teenage Enedina dreamed of wearing the crown as Mazatlan Carnival Queen, but those dreams faded as the lure of a different kind of power pulled her in. Her brothers, Ramon and Benjamin, were already climbing the ranks of the criminal underworld, working under drug kingpin Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo. Under his mentorship, the Arellano Felix family gained control of the valuable drug corridor in Tijuana, Baja California. Enedina didn't just tag along for the ride, she played the long game. She studied accounting at a private university in Guadalajara, Jalisco, earning a degree that would turn her into the cartel's financial mastermind. While her brothers handled the violence, she handled the books, running intricate money laundering schemes that kept the cartel's cash flowing. By 2000, Enedina's power surged after the arrest of the Tijuana cartel's financial mastermind, Jesus Labra Aviles. When her brother Eduardo was captured in 2008, Enedina took full control, with most of her brothers either dead or incarcerated. Unlike her violent siblings, she ran the cartel like a business, forging strategic alliances to survive law enforcement pressure. Her ties to Colombian drug suppliers ensured a steady flow of narcotics into the US, cementing her as the cartel's crucial leader. Despite constant efforts by Mexican and US authorities to bring her down, Enedina's sharp instincts and adaptability have kept her untouchable. She earned the title of the cartel's financial brains and was sanctioned under the Foreign Narcotics Kingpin Designation Act in June 2000. Yet, she remains a ghost, her location unknown, adding to her mystique. While Enedina has stayed in the shadows, commanding her cartel from behind the scenes, this next woman's rise to power proved that, even in the male-dominated world of drug cartels, women can dominate with both brains and ruthless strategy, even in this present day. Mallory Chacon Russell. In the history of a society that often sidelined women, Mallory Chacon Russell defied the odds, carving out her place as one of Central America's most feared figures. Her empire, born in Guatemala, spread quickly to Honduras, Panama, and beyond, solidifying her as a regional powerhouse. Mallory orchestrated massive cocaine shipments, aligning herself with powerful Mexican cartels like Los Zetas and Sinaloa. These alliances, built on strategic negotiation, ensured her dominance in the international drug trade. But Mallory wasn't just a trafficker, she was a master of money laundering, believed to move tens of millions of dollars monthly. Her ability to clean vast sums using legitimate financial channels set her apart as the top money launderer in Guatemala. In 2014, Mallory surrendered to US authorities not as a defeat, but a calculated move. Her cooperation provided key intelligence, earning her a reduced sentence and further establishing her reputation. The US Treasury called her one of the most prolific narcotics traffickers in Central America, acknowledging her immense power. Though her sentencing and release were kept secret for 5 years, the mystery only added to her legend. As of 2025, Mallory's influence remains strong, her legacy unbroken. She continues to navigate both the drug trade and financial crimes, proving herself not only a survivor, but a leader in the male-dominated criminal world. Her name still sends chills through those who cross her, a testament to her intelligence, ruthlessness, and strategic genius. Although Mallory used strategic alliances to stay untouchable in the drug world, this next woman was shaped by survival in the violent gangland wars of Australia to earn the most coveted matriarch respect in the gang. Judy Moran. The name Judy Moran is one that echoes through Australia's criminal underworld and still holds power in 2025. As the matriarch of Melbourne's infamous Moran family, her life has been a wild whirlwind of crime, power, and survival. Against all odds, Judy has weathered every storm, holding her ground in a world where most people either disappear or die trying. Judy's descent into crime began with her marriage to Lewis Moran, a major player in Melbourne's gangland scene. That marriage pulled her into a life where loyalty was a gamble and betrayal lurked around every corner. The Moran family was at the heart of the brutal Melbourne gangland wars in the late 90s and early 2000s. These wars, packed with high-profile murders, thrust Judy into the public eye. Despite losing her husband Lewis and her sons, Mark and Jason, to this violent conflict, she never backed down. Instead, she doubled down, proving herself as a force to be reckoned with. On June 15, 2009, Judy's brother-in-law, Des Moran, was shot dead. The following day, Judy, Suzanne Cain, and 2 others were arrested in connection with the murder. Judy was accused of concealing the getaway car and a rifle, stolen plates, and other evidence were allegedly found at her home. She was allegedly fueled by paranoia of her brother-in-law being out to take everything that her husband left from her. Her house was set on fire the same night, suspected to be an act of arson. Judy and Suzanne Cain were denied bail, with police citing the risk posed by their access to weapons. Later, Jeffrey Amour, Cain's partner, was charged with murder and later pled guilty, receiving a 26-year sentence. In March 2011, Judy was convicted of Desmond's murder and sentenced to 26 years in prison, with a minimum of 21 years. Even behind the bars, her far-reaching influence has not waned for a moment. The next woman on the list has so much influence over the drug trade world, and the authorities so much that her time in prison was like a vacation away from the streets. Sandra Avila Beltran. In 2025, Sandra Avila Beltran is still a powerhouse in the criminal underworld. Dubbed the Queen of Cocaine, her influence stretches far beyond Mexico, weaving through the global drug trade like an unbreakable thread. Sandra's path to gaining power in the crime world started early. Born into the powerful Avila Quintero family, who were deeply tied to the Guadalajara cartel, she was practically raised in the business. Her father, Alfonso Avila Quintero, was a major player, giving Sandra front-row seats to the wealth, chaos, and brutality that came with cartel life. While other kids played with dolls, she was learning the art of survival and strategy. By adulthood, Sandra had already made a name for herself. Her charm, intelligence, and sharp instincts propelled her up the ranks, solidifying her position as a key player in the drug trade. Her ties to Joaquin El Chapo Guzman and her romantic relationship with a top Sinaloa cartel leader only strengthened her grip on power. But it wasn't just her connections that made her a force. Sandra ran her operations like a queen on a chessboard, always thinking 10 moves ahead. She commanded a fleet of 30 cars, expertly coordinating drug shipments across borders like a logistics mastermind. Her ability to broker deals and keep alliances intact made her an invaluable asset, someone even the most ruthless kingpins respected. Despite her criminal prowess, Sandra's personal life was marked by heartbreaking tragedy. Her first husband died in a hail of bullets, her second was stabbed through the heart, and her brother was tortured to death. All victims of the violent cocaine wars ravaging Mexico. Even prison couldn't break her. After her arrest, Sandra's influence didn't fade. It flourished. Her cell became a command center, buzzing with activity as visitors flowed in and out. She lived like royalty, with 3 maids catering to her needs, proving that even behind bars, her power was undeniable. Although Sandra still commands global respect through calculated alliances and strategic brilliance, let's take a look at this next woman who has dominated the underworld of Philly's drug scene in desperate need to protect her family legacy. Thelma Wright. Thelma Wright grew up in a close-knit Catholic family in South Philly with a stable and promising start. She went to St. Maria Goretti High School and later studied real estate management at Temple University, but everything shifted when she met Jackie Wright in the late 70s. Jackie was a big player in Philly's drug scene, known for his ties to the Black Mafia, a ruthless street gang that controlled the city's underworld. Thelma and Jackie became a powerhouse couple, diving deep into the dangerous drug trade together. But when Jackie's fate left her with a choice, leave the crime world behind or take over the family business, Thelma had to step up. With a young son, Jackiem, and no financial backup, she took the reins, determined to keep their empire alive. Entering the drug trade wasn't easy for Thelma. As one of the few women in a male-dominated game, she had to fight for respect and show she could hold her own. She ran major operations, moving tons of coke and heroin between Los Angeles and Philly. Her toughness earned her the titles Boss Lady and Queen Pen, showing just how much influence she had in the streets. Thelma's sharp business sense paid off big time. She was pulling in an estimated $400,000 a month, proving she had mastered the game. But it wasn't just about money, it was about survival and securing a future for her son. Despite the massive profits, Thelma's life was always on the edge. The drug game was dangerous, and she faced constant threats of violence and betrayal. In July 1991, she was caught in the crossfire of a shootout at Studio West, a popular nightclub. This close call, plus the arrest of a longtime client, Fats, who got picked up after asking about a missing package, made Thelma rethink her life. By the end of 1991, Thelma made a game-changing decision. She was out of the drug business for good. She went underground, focusing on rebuilding her life and staying far away from her criminal past. Although Thelma was forced to retreat from the drug business to protect her future, this next woman commands respect and fear in both the criminal and law enforcement worlds through her ruthless operations. Maria Chata Leon. Maria Chata Leon is a name that strikes fear into the hearts of many on the streets of northeastern Los Angeles, where she built her empire on Drew Street. Known for its buzzing gang activity, this area became the core of her operations. Maria's home wasn't just a house, it was a fortress. Equipped with surveillance cameras and a stash of weapons, including a Tech 9 machine gun and a Smith Corona rifle, it was clear she was always ready for anything. The Los Angeles Police Department couldn't break through her defenses, no matter how hard they tried. Maria's criminal reach went far beyond drugs. She was heavily involved in human smuggling, a risky but profitable business. She teamed up with Eduardo Alvarez Marquez, a notorious human smuggling kingpin, proving her sharp strategic mind. Together, they pulled off audacious smuggling schemes, like moving everything from a 3-month-old baby to a truckload of Chinese workers hidden in a freezer truck. Their partnership between gangs and human traffickers created a world that law enforcement couldn't easily infiltrate. For Maria, crime was about power, not just money. Connected to the Mexican mafia, her influence spanned Mexico and the US. In 2008, her son Danny Clever Leon was killed in a police shootout. Determined to attend his funeral, Maria's son Francisco arranged for smugglers, but the feds intercepted their plans, leading to convictions. Undeterred, Maria crossed the border with a stolen green card, wearing a black t-shirt with her son's face, a bold symbol of her unwavering resolve. Now serving an 8-year federal sentence, Maria's arrest in 2008 was a major blow to her empire. But her legacy lives on. The Drew Street compound, once a symbol of her power, has been demolished, but the memory of her reign still lingers. Although Maria's fierceness landed her in jail, the next woman on my list continues to maintain a strong influence as the Madrina of the Camorra clan, which was established when she single-handedly united 20 rival bosses. Anna Maria Licciardi. In the history of women ruling the streets, Anna Maria Licciardi ruled the gritty streets of Secondigliano district of Naples, Italy. This area, infamous for its deep connections to the Camorra, a network of organized crime clans, was the perfect backdrop for Licciardi's rise to power. Growing up in a family embedded in the Camorra, with her father as a clan boss, Anna's future in the criminal underworld seemed almost destined. Her climb to the top began in the 1990s, a chaotic time for the Camorra. After her husband and 2 brothers were arrested, the Secondigliano clan found itself without a leader, creating a power vacuum. Seizing the moment, Licciardi stepped up and took charge, earning the title Madrina, or godmother of the clan. Under her command, the Secondigliano clan expanded into a wide range of criminal activities, including drug trafficking, extortion, cigarette smuggling, and prostitution. Licciardi was a gifted negotiator, bringing warring factions of the Camorra together for peace talks. She persuaded 20 rival bosses, known as guapos, that unity would bring greater rewards than endless bloodshed. Her diplomatic skills brought a brief pause to mob-related violence in Naples, proving just how much power and influence she held. The peace Licciardi had secured unraveled quickly. Within days, several of her men were killed, including her nephew. Licciardi reportedly ordered the deaths of 14 people in retaliation, showing her ruthless grip on power. The peace Licciardi had brokered began to crumble, and rival clans rebelled. Within 8 days, several members of her clan were killed, including her nephew. In response, Licciardi reportedly ordered the deaths of 14 people, demonstrating just how far she was willing to go to keep control. Police believe she is linked to around 30 murders. Though small in stature, Licciardi's reputation was massive. Her nickname, La Piccolina, or the little one couldn't have been more misleading. She commanded respect and fear from her male counterparts, earning the title of Camorra Princess. Her reign ended in 1999 with a warrant for her arrest, but she evaded capture for 2 years. In 2001, she was caught during a routine traffic stop and has since served a harsh prison sentence, though reports suggest her influence over the clan remains strong. Although Liquiadi's direct reign over the clan ended with her capture, this next woman's legacy of influence has lasted much longer, as she orchestrated her brother's criminal empire from the shadows. Rosetta Cutolo. In the world of organized crime in Ottaviano, Italy, Rosetta Cutolo held a lot of weight. Known by the chilling nickname Occhi e Ghiaccio, meaning ice eyes, Rosetta's life was deeply connected to the notorious Nuova Camorra Organizzata, or NCO, led by her brother Raffaele Cutolo. While Raffaele spent much of his life behind bars, it was Rosetta who truly became the backbone of the operation, managing the NCO with unwavering determination and strategic genius. With Raffaele locked up, she stepped up to handle his affairs, passing down his orders and keeping the loyalty of the NCO's members. In a world dominated by men, Rosetta became a pillar of power, ensuring the organization's survival and growth during her brother's imprisonment. People in Ottaviano knew that, despite Raffaele's public persona, Rosetta was the real power holding the NCO together. While Raffaele thrived on media attention, Rosetta preferred the shadows, often clashing with him over his public antics. But her desire for privacy didn't lessen her influence. With a sharp mind for strategy, she became vital to the NCO's operations. The NCO's headquarters, Castello Mediceo, was a grand 16th century palace with 365 rooms, tennis courts, and a pool. Here, Rosetta orchestrated much of the organization's work, using her skill with numbers and negotiations to form powerful alliances with South American cocaine barons, expanding the NCO's reach beyond Italy. In 1981, Rosetta's world came crashing down when police raided her headquarters during a high-level NCO meeting. In a daring move, she managed to escape by hiding under a rug in a car driven by a local priest. This began her decade-long life on the run, where she directed NCO operations from various safe houses in different cities. Rosetta's life on the run ended in February 1993 when she surrendered to authorities, claiming she was tired of being a fugitive. She was sentenced in absentia to 9 years for mafia association, later reduced to 5. Despite facing serious charges, including allegations of running her brother's operations, she was acquitted of 9 murder charges. Her unassuming appearance and calm demeanor played a key role in convincing authorities of her innocence. While Rosetta Cutolo meticulously navigated her brother's criminal empire from the shadows, Raffaella Daltiero's transition from widow to feared mafia boss in 2025 reveals a different kind of power. Raffaella Daltiero's path to becoming one of the most notorious female gang leaders active in 2025 is nothing short of extraordinary. She grew up in a family steeped in the traditions of the Italian mafia and was no stranger to the dark underbelly of organized crime. Yet, it was the tragic and untimely death of her husband, a powerful mafia boss, that thrust her into the middle of fearsome crime. After her husband's death, Raffaella was thrust into a power struggle with rival factions vying for control, but instead of crumbling, she rose to the occasion. With a mix of cunning, strategy, and sheer force of will, she consolidated power and emerged as the unchallenged leader of the family. Her rise was marked by a series of bold, well-executed moves, including high-profile heists across Europe, from banks to jewelry stores. These operations not only filled her coffers, but solidified her reputation as a criminal mastermind. Under her leadership, the organization expanded its reach and grew stronger, with Raffaella staying one step ahead of law enforcement. One of Raffaella's most notorious ventures was her involvement in a large-scale extortion racket. Using her connections and influence, she orchestrated a scheme that targeted wealthy individuals and businesses. Her ability to extract money through intimidation and manipulation was unparalleled, and her network of loyal associates ensured the operation ran smoothly. Raffaella's entry into the drug trade, forming alliances with South American cartels, secured her a steady flow of narcotics and global influence. She also built connections with celebrities and politicians, adding protection and power to her empire. Her legendary lifestyle became a symbol of wealth and dominance. Despite facing constant threats from rivals and law enforcement, Raffaella's ability to evade capture showcased her strategic brilliance and the loyalty she commanded. But the pressure eventually took its toll, and she was arrested in a carefully planned operation on charges of extortion and robbery. While her influence over the drug trade is still very prominent, the next woman took a much more unconventional route to power, running a high-end call girl ring that catered to only the elite. Anna Gristina. Ana Cristina, famously known as the Soccer Mom Madam, remains a mysterious female gang leader in 2025. Her rise to notoriety began in the early 2010s when she was arrested for allegedly running a high-end call girl operation catering to New York City's elite. Despite the media frenzy and the charges, Cristina steadfastly denied the accusations, insisting her business was a legitimate matchmaking service akin to Match.com. Born in Scotland, Cristina moved to the US with hopes of a fresh start, only to find herself caught in a legal storm. She was accused of promoting prostitution, but she maintained that her operation was consensual and based on trust. After an extensive investigation, she was charged, though she claimed the plea deal was coerced and that the legal pressure was a politically motivated attempt to turn her into an informant. Cristina served only 4 months at Rikers Island and was sentenced to probation. In the face of the media frenzy, Cristina held firm in refusing to reveal her clients' names. She has always stood by the notion that her business was misunderstood, portraying herself as a savvy entrepreneur rather than a criminal mastermind. The fees charged for her services ranged from $1,000 per hour to a staggering $25,000 for a weekend, and Cristina took a cut of these earnings. Contrary to the popular media narrative of a brothel, Cristina insists that her operation was a network of meetings in luxury Manhattan apartments or hotels, with a modest Upper East Side crash pad being a mere location for business meetings. While Cristina has built herself a name among the elites, this next woman, known as the Queen of Amphetamines, runs a vast network in trafficking and money laundering complex systems. Beatriz Henao Elena. Henao, known as the Queen of the Amphetamines, remains a formidable force in the criminal underworld in 2025. Starting as a political science graduate, Henao's ambition led her to dominate the international drug trade, building a global empire with strategic brilliance and alliances. Fluent in English, German, Dutch, and Spanish, she navigated the complex world of trafficking, moving massive quantities of amphetamines to high-demand markets in the US, Spain, and the Netherlands. Her alliance with the Comba brothers solidified her place in the Colombian cartel's operations, where she played a key role in orchestrating drug shipments worldwide. Despite her 2011 extradition to the US on drug trafficking and money laundering charges, Henao continued to control her empire from behind bars, aided by loyal associates. Her criminal influence extends into her family, with 2 sons imprisoned for serious crimes, establishing her legacy as a matriarch of a crime dynasty. In 2025, Henao remains a dominant figure, using encrypted communications and digital networks to stay ahead of law enforcement. Her operations now include money laundering and arms smuggling, showcasing her ability to adapt and diversify in the ever-evolving criminal landscape. While Henao grew her empire and influence through strategic alliances, the next woman on my list grew out of the shadows of her husband, who ruled one of the most brutal Mexican cartels to run one of the biggest fronts for laundering cartel money. Rosalinda González Valencia. Rosalinda González Valencia, known as La Jefa or the Boss, remains a key figure in the criminal underworld in 2025. Hailing from a family rooted in avocado farming in Aguililla, Michoacán, she rose to prominence within the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, leveraging strategic alliances and her family's ties to the Milenio Cartel. Rosalinda's marriage to Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, who is popularly referred to as El Mencho, the CJNG leader, cemented her place in the cartel's hierarchy. Even after their divorce in 2018, Rosalinda's influence remained pivotal, particularly in managing over 70 cartel-linked businesses and laundering millions of dollars. Her arrest in 2018 by the Mexican Navy and subsequent time in detention disrupted the CJNG's financial operations, but Rosalinda's resilience kept her indispensable. She was recaptured in 2021, identified as the cartel's CFO, continuing her vital role. Despite facing charges for money laundering and a recent 5-year prison sentence, Rosalinda maintains her innocence, claiming persecution due to her ties to El Mencho. Her ongoing health issues, including hypertension and a terminal illness, have become a focal point of her legal battles. Rosalinda's role in the CJNG's financial dominance remains crucial, showing how women can wield power in male-dominated, violent organizations. Though overshadowed by El Mencho's notorious reputation, her contributions have kept the cartel thriving. Sebastiana Cotton Vasquez. Sebastiana Hortensia Cotton Vasquez, known as Tana or Doña, remains a dominant force in Central America's criminal underworld in 2025. Her empire stretches across borders, making her one of the most feared female gang leaders. Vasquez's rise to power began after the capture of Guatemalan drug lord Juan Chamal, when she took control of his operations, expanding her reach and solidifying her role in the underworld. Her affiliation with the violent Nicaraguan group Los Charros and ties to the Valles drug trafficking organization in Honduras further established her influence. Vasquez's operations span multiple countries, including a partnership with Salvadoran kingpin Jorge Ulloa Cibrian. Her ability to coordinate massive drug shipments is evidenced by her alleged involvement in trafficking 40 tons of cocaine destined for the US market, showcasing her logistical genius and the loyalty she's cultivated within her network. Vasquez's flexibility in maintaining strategic relationships with multiple cartels, especially Mexican groups, has kept her at the top of the drug trade. Her network's connections, such as with Rapolo's organization and notorious trafficker Jairo Orellana Morales, highlight her central role in the region's criminal activities. Despite her arrest in southern Mexico in October, her influence remains strong. While she continues to wield power over her drug trafficking network in the midst of her legal battles, this next woman, who was a recognized La Patrona in the Sinaloa cartel, came out of prison to solidify her claim over her territories. Guadalupe Fernandez Valencia. Guadalupe Fernandez Valencia, who is popularly known as La Patrona, remains one of the most feared and influential figures in the Mexican cartel family as of 2025. Born into a family with deep ties to the Sinaloa cartel, Guadalupe's path was practically carved for her. With her brother, Manuel Fernandez Valencia, a key figure in the cartel, guiding her, she quickly learned the intricate dynamics of the drug trade, positioning herself for greatness from an early age. Her rise within the Sinaloa cartel was nothing short of meteoric. By the early 2010s, Guadalupe had earned a reputation for being a sharp strategist and negotiator, using her business acumen to broker major deals and expand the cartel's operations. Her understanding of the drug trade, combined with her cold-blooded ruthlessness, made her a force to be reckoned with in a cartel dominated by men. As La Patrona, she managed to secure key territories and solidify her status as one of the cartel's top leaders. Her leadership was a perfect blend of fear and respect, ensuring loyalty from her subordinates while keeping her rivals in check. Guadalupe's criminal career took a significant hit in 2016 when she was arrested in Mexico and extradited to the United States on charges of drug trafficking and money laundering. Her capture was hailed as a major victory for law enforcement, but her influence didn't stop there. Behind bars, Guadalupe's power remained intact as she continued to direct operations, leveraging her network of loyalists to ensure her interests were always protected. It was clear, even behind bars, La Patrona was still in charge. Her release from prison in 2023 was a pivotal moment. Many expected her to fade into the background, but Guadalupe had other plans. Returning to the Sinaloa cartel, she swiftly reasserted her dominance, regaining control over her territories and expanding her reach into new regions. Guadalupe Fernandez Valencia's name still resonates with power and fear across the criminal world. This matriarch of the Valle clan in Honduras has established her family's dominance over the drug trafficking trade. Digna Azucena Valle. Born on December 15, 1966, in La Encarnacion, Honduras, Digna Azucena. Valle's path was set within the notorious Valle family. Initially involved in cattle rustling and cigarette smuggling, the family shifted to the far more lucrative and deadly business of cocaine trafficking in the 1990s, becoming key players in the trade between Colombia and the United States. The Valle clan flourished amidst the political chaos of Honduras following the 2009 coup, using the instability to expand their reach and regularly sending tons of cocaine to the US. While her brothers, Miguel Arnulfo and Luis Alonso, took center stage, Digna wielded immense power. Behind the scenes, managing finances and maintaining control over the region of El Espiritu, she used both money and force to secure her family's dominance, playing a key role in the logistics and flow of drug shipments, as well as overseeing the family's sophisticated money laundering operations through a variety of legitimate businesses. Her connections extended far beyond Honduras, with global alliances, notably notably with Joaquin El Chapo Guzman of the Sinaloa cartel. These alliances helped the Valle family secure their place in the regional drug trade, even providing political cover. However, in 2013, the family's fortunes began to unravel when Digna was arrested in Miami in 2014. The arrest led to the seizure of over 50 properties tied to the Valle family, and by October 2014, both of her brothers were captured and extradited to the US. Digna pled guilty to drug trafficking charges in 2015, agreeing to cooperate with US authorities in exchange for a reduced sentence. Her cooperation led to the exposure of the Valle family's vast criminal network, and she was released early in 2018, granted political asylum in Texas. Despite the fall of the Valle empire, Digna's influence remains felt. Her sons are rumored to have continued her criminal operations, and some family members have returned to Honduras after completing their sentences in the US. Her youngest brother, Jose Inocente Valle, remains free, continuing the family's legacy. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.